Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's comments about engineering graduates in the state has sparked a massive political row. At an event in Hyderabad, Chief Minister Reddy flagged poor employability among engineering graduates, calling their education a criminal waste. While speaking at the event, Reddy referred to the large number of engineering students passing out every year. Reddy said that over 1 lakh engineering graduates complete their course in the state every year, but many of them are unable to write even a simple job application.
Every year, nearly 1.1 lakh graduates pass out from engineering colleges. But if you ask them to write an application for a job for themselves on a plain paper, they cannot even write that. This is the level of education today. Their education is a criminal waste.
Opposition BJP and the BRS have condemned Reddy's remarks and accused the Chief Minister of insulting engineering graduates and their abilities. In a post on X, BRS Working President K.T. Ramarao questioned what qualifications Reddy had to make such a remark. In a statement, State BJP Chief Spokesperson N.V. Subhash also hit out at the Chief Minister and accused the Congress Party of lecturing the nation on unemployment, but also choosing to ridicule lakhs of engineering graduates who work tirelessly. Now, amid the backlash, Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has clarified that he was not blaming the graduates, but the education system. However, the controversy has sparked a massive uproar politically and has also triggered a debate on social media. Well, this is the latest we are getting in, where Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has expressed concern over the employability of engineering graduates, and it is undoubtedly a major point of concern. But he has used the phrase a criminal waste, referring to, of course, the education system which has created these graduates, and of course the employability is in question. The comment came during his discussion on the gap between academic qualifications and employable skills, where Revanth Reddy claimed that some engineering graduates refuse smaller jobs and they fail to acquire skills, but expect others to find employment for them.
Honorable CM గారికి స్వాగతం పలుకుతున్న దృశ్యాలు చూస్తూ ఉన్నాం. గౌరవనీయులైన ముఖ్యమంత్రి స్థానిక ఎమ్మెల్యే మధుసూదన్ రెడ్డి.
And for more on this, we're now being joined by TV Mohan Das Pai from Bengaluru. He's a chairman of Foreign Capital Partners and a political commentator. Thank you so much, sir, for making time for us and joining us on the broadcast. Now, we've heard Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy calling, of course, the unemployability of the graduates, but the term that he has used, of the phrase, a criminal waste about their education. What do you make of this remark?
Well, he's right. He's honest. He's right. But the question you got to ask is, as Chief Minister of Telangana, what is he doing about it? This is not the problem of today. It has been there for a long period of time. There are too many poor engineering colleges all over the country in every state. Barring the top 25, 30, 40%, the rest are not good. They are in, poorer parts of the state. They are ill-qualified, but people have aspirations. They pay through their nose for high fees and go there, and they don't get a good education. And it's also the result of bad schooling. When you finish your class 12, if you've not got a good education, you are not articulate, you don't have soft skills, then you go to college, how will you improve 4 years in an indifferent college? So he's very right. But the question you got to ask Revanth Reddy is, he's the Chief Minister, Education Minister, what has he done as Chief Minister and Education Minister to improve? That's the question you got to ask. What he's saying is the truth. I mean, I don't think anybody should get upset about it because there's no insult, because that is the truth.
Right. It did, in fact, hold a mirror to the education system. But, sir, what would you suggest we need to change in our, educational reform? Because we understand that the problem is very much at the grassroots level. What do you think we need to make about a meaningful change in the education system to tackle this problem?
Well, I think we must improve the higher secondary schooling system first. Because if you don't get good school education, you are not improving. And, let me say this very clearly. The top 25, 30% of government schools are good. The top 40% of private schools are good. The rest are not very good. And in India, we have a problem of scale. We have more than about 25 crore young people in school. And, the dropout rate up to class 12 is about 25, 30%. And in many rural areas, they are the first generation and we don't have enough good schools. So you have to invest in the schooling system to make them much better. And then you got to consolidate the engineering colleges so that there are fewer engineering colleges, but better engineering colleges. Because unless you consolidate, they will not go to a good branded, good college where there is a brand. We need larger engineering colleges, larger universities where better investment can be made. There are too many engineering colleges in rural areas, backward areas, etc., which don't have anything. They don't have good faculty. They don't have anything. But must consolidate. That's the only way to improve. Today, if 25, 30% are good, possibly you can increase it to 50, 60, 70%. But we can't aim for 100%. It's going to be very, very difficult. So we have to do this. We have to improve school leadership. We have to consolidate engineering colleges, consolidate universities, make them residential. That means he has to invest money. We should ask Revanth Reddy, how much is he spending on higher education? Has he increased spending on school education in areas where the outcome is very poor? I mean, the ministers and chief ministers make remarks like this, which is the fact, which is true. But the question is, what are they doing about it? Let me give the instance of my state of Karnataka. In the government education system, there is a 60% vacancy for faculty because they're all guest lecturers. Just the other day, 250 people in the government colleges were found to have forged or got, created fraud in their PhD degrees. The PhD degree didn't exist. So what is the system doing? And you're putting the future of our children at stake. And that's why the great degree of anger among the young people about the lack of access to good education. And I think it's a problem. We have to solve it. Because, please remember, in the next, India is undergoing a youth bulge. We had a youth bulge last 10 years. Next 10 years is going to be a youth bulge. We're going to have 2.5 crore young people coming into, attaining the age of 21 every year. 1.15 crore young people graduating every year now. And we got to give them jobs. You got to give them good education. We have to invest much more, manage it much better.
Right, and it's also important to look at the remarks in the larger context. The comments came during his discussion on the gap between academic qualifications and the employable skills, where Revanth Reddy claimed that some engineering graduates, they refuse smaller jobs, they fail to acquire skills, and they expect others to find employment for them. Now, even if it is an insult to the students, or perhaps it's holding a mirror to our education system, it has, raised criticism from the opposition parties, and we have reactions pouring in. What do you make of that?
Well, political parties will play it up and point fingers at others. It's like the Gen Z agitation, so-called Gen Z agitation in Delhi. They'll all point fingers at others because they want to get a political advantage. But all of them should sit together and say, how do you solve the problem? It is a problem. It is real. The future of our young people is at stake. How do we all get together to solve it? And Revanth Reddy, as the minister in charge and other chief minister, has to answer that. What is the solution? He has to give a solution. He cannot be like an opposition party person and go on criticizing and saying that, oh, this is bad, that is bad, this is bad. Yeah, it is bad. There is no doubt about it. It has been bad for long. What are you doing about it? That is the key we got to ask. We need solutions.
Absolutely, sir. And we have seen this conversation become a mainstay, especially after the CJP protests we've seen. And now the spotlight is solely on the education system and the overall overhaul that we need over there. But of course, the question about what we're doing now at the higher education, of course, it also traces back to what is happening at the grassroots level. And of course, we need major changes. But at the same time, this particular instance of, the minister calling it a criminal waste, and this is, of course, referring to the students and the education system. Do you think this kind of a language is also going to be taken lightly, especially in an environment where, the Gen Z or perhaps, the larger conversation that we're having, accountability has become something that this generation is not going to let go that easily? How do you see this generation taking the remark going ahead?
Well, I think, the choice of words, I would say, is wrong. It should not have been done because, it's very humiliating. And the Gen Z is going to take it very strongly because they'll all turn around and say, what are you doing? You are the minister. You are the chief minister. You have a responsibility. We elected you to power. What are you doing? You're coming and abusing us, saying our education is the criminal based. We can't even write an application. We can't do this. What are you doing about it? How are you investing to train us? How are you investing in us? We are the future citizens, voters. What are you doing? Pointing fingers at others, saying that everything is bad, this is bad, is very simple. The question is, you are in power. What are you doing about it? That's the question Gen Z should ask. And I think they should rise up and ask the Chief Minister about this and force him to bring in reforms. It's the right occasion for all students to rise up and say, tell us what you're going to do in the future. Yes, if we say the criminal waste, how are you going to make sure that it improve and you don't ruin our lives? Because he's accountable, right? He's running the government higher education system. What is he doing? He's accountable.
We hear you. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, Mr.
Thank you.
Mohan Das Pai, and sharing your perspective with us. We'll, of course, continue to track the developments closely. And this is the latest we're getting. Of course, Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has expressed concern over the employability of engineering students, and it is, of course, a major point of concern, but it has also raised ire from the opposition, BRS and BJP, which are accusing him of insulting the students. And speaking at the event, Reddy referred to the large number of engineering students who are passing out every year. He said that over 1 lakh engineering graduates complete their course in the state every year, but many of them are unable to write even a simple job application. Opposition BJP and the BRS have condemned Reddy's remarks and accused the Chief Minister of insulting engineering graduates and their abilities. In fact, in a post on X, BRS working president KT Ramarao questioned what qualifications Reddy had to make such a remark. Now, in a statement, the state BJP chief spokesperson NV Subhash also hit out at the Chief Minister, and he accused the Congress party of lecturing the nation on unemployment, but also choosing to ridicule lakhs of engineering graduates who work tirelessly. Amid the backlash, Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has clarified that he was not blaming the graduates, but the education system. However, the controversy has sparked a massive uproar politically and has also triggered a debate on social media. Let's hear what the Telangana Chief Minister A. Revanth Reddy said during
Every year, nearly 1.1 lakh graduates pass out from engineering colleges. But if you ask them to write an application for a job for themselves on a plain paper, they cannot even write that. This is the level of education today. Their education is a criminal waste.
Job kosam application fill up cheyamanunri.
Well, the comment came during his discussion on the gap between academic qualification and employable skills, where Revanth Reddy claimed that some engineering graduates refuse smaller jobs, they fail to acquire skills, and they expect others to find employment for them. Now, his remark on the job readiness of newly minted engineers drew the ire of opposition members. BRS working president KT Ramarao, he accused the Chief Minister of insulting engineering graduates and questioned his qualifications to assess their abilities. And for more, we also have with us Professor K. Nageshwar Rao from Hyderabad. He is an Indian academic, political analyst, journalist and education commentator. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. Now, you heard the Telangana Chief Minister, A. Revanth Reddy, calling, of course, the engineering graduates criminal waste. What do you make of this remark, which has, invited political ire from the opposition as well?
Well, if you carefully listen to Chief Minister's statement, he did not say engineering students as criminal waste. Let us not distort the statement. He said engineering education is criminal waste. So his target is on the quality of education, not the students. So the opposition has cleverly distorted it for their political agenda. But as an objective analyst, we cannot do that. He has clearly said engineering education has become criminal waste. That is the statement, not engineering students. Well, the focus should not be on the semantics. Well, Chief Minister should not have used this word or should have used this word. That's not a matter for me. For the matter is the abominable quality of engineering education. At least the quality of engineering education has caught the attention of the national media, precisely because Chief Minister said a very caustic comment. So we should be thankful to the Chief Minister for raising this issue so that the debate continues. What we have to ask the government and ask the Chief Minister is, what are you doing to improve the quality of education? The media question should be to pin down the government on what steps are you taking to improve the quality of engineering education. This is not the problem with Telangana. This is not the problem with Andhra Pradesh. This is the problem with the entire country. Even the studies by reports by CII, ASSOCHAM, NASCOM, and many other business bodies also reveal that the employability of engineering graduates is abominably very low. And the fact remains, even the chief of L&T once said, I am unable to get a good mechanical engineer. NASCOM reports have expressed concern about the non-availability of the quality manpower. We have unbelievable unemployment in our country, underemployment of country. At the same time, industry and economy is suffering from quality manpower. So let us acknowledge the fact, rather than debating on the semantics, we should focus on the larger issue and substantial issue in that.
Right, we hear you, sir, and even though the comments they came during his discussion on the gap between academic qualifications and employable skills, Revanth Reddy claimed that some engineering graduates, they refuse smaller jobs and the skills are not adequate from what is required to get employment. Now, even if this is holding mirror to the education system, what kind of reforms do you suggest that we need to work upon and the government needs to take a hard look at?
Well, there should be a very close correlation between the university and industry, not just in engineering education. It's a problem with all professional courses, whether it is management education or legal education or media education. There is a yawning gap between industry and the academics, and that gap needs to be filled. The university, the academic should lead the industry. Today, that kind of situation is absolutely not there. And the government should provide the infrastructure, and the private sector should provide the infrastructure in engineering, where you have incubation centers, where you have online real work on experience. Today, you read theory and you read books and you write examinations, you memorize things and produce degrees. Well, this is absolutely unacceptable in the age of artificial intelligence. The AI revolution is making mundane skills redundant. We have to prepare for the post-AI age. Unfortunately, Indian engineering education has not done that. There's a problem of plenty. We are expanding engineering colleges, but the proliferation of data doesn't mean proliferation of knowledge. Proliferation of colleges do not mean proliferation of standards in education. So industry should play a very important role in upgrading the skills of the people. And there should be a focus on skill ecosystem. There should be a focus on entrepreneurship. There should be a focus on creative disruption. And there should be a focus on actual practical ecosystem that operates in the university. Our syllabi is redundant. We don't change. The classrooms are archaic. The mode of teaching, the method of examination is absolutely archaic. And that has to change. I've seen in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, students producing mini robots. Today, unfortunately, the project reports are recycling Xerox shops. So let us seriously and honestly look at the problem rather than getting into the political debate.
Right, so we understand, and there's also this understanding, of course, that there are schools and there are ample teachers, but we are failing to, make the two meet in a meaningful way. And the same model actually applies to here as well, as you were just mentioning. We have no dearth of talent in India. There's no dearth of opportunity. But what do you think is a roadblock in getting the opportunity to talent here?
There's absolutely no monitoring. Today in the engineering education in India, the private colleges have mushroomed without any practical facilities, proper labs, proper technical skills, and having hands-on projects. Today, look at the private engineering colleges. They hardly pay good salaries to their faculty, barring few examples. A large number of engineering colleges do not even have proper full-time faculty. They don't even pay salaries for 12 months. They pay salaries for 8-9 months and leave the teachers out so that they need not pay salaries during vacations. And universities routinely give affiliation, and the very system that has to evaluate the standards and renew their affiliation. They simply do it on a routine basis. And you get into any engineering college, you find this kind of a problem. I'm not blaming the entire system. You have the prestigious engineering colleges like Birla Institute of Technology and Sciences, which has excellent campus and infrastructure. But I'm talking about the average engineering, private engineering college. Well, I taught at BITS Hyderabad for 4 years as a visiting faculty. I taught non-engineering electives. So I have seen personally what kind of standards they maintain. But that's not the case with normal engineering colleges, not even the private, even in the government sector, barring the top engineering institutions like Osmania University or Jawaharlal Nehru Technological Institute in Hyderabad, you don't find a similar kind of standards in the government engineering colleges in smaller towns. Availability of faculty is a very big problem. The upgrading of infrastructure is a problem. The bureaucratic academic scenarios is redundant. So it requires a complete overhaul where industry should lead this transformation of education. Look at MIT, look at Stanford, look at Georgia Tech, what kind of standards they maintain. I have visited these universities and have personally seen the quality of education they impart. I have gone to the Stanford. Whatever happens in the industry today morning will be taught in the classroom in the afternoon. So the industry leaders regularly frequent the campuses. They come and teach the students. They come and talk to the students. And the top companies provide internship to the students. Look at the PM internship program. Look at the implementation of the PM internship program, which was launched with such a fanfare. It is absolutely disastrous implementation. So this is the level we have to blame the college management, private management, you have to blame the government, you have to blame the industry. So we should not blame the students. Students are quite brilliant. They are ready to learn. Point is the kind of system which we are offering to the students. The same students are becoming corporate leaders in the United States. So they are all our students only. Maybe they might have gone from better engineering colleges. So the problem is not with the student. The problem is with the system. The problem is with the governance, educational governance. The problem is with the corporate greed in getting money out of the private engineering colleges but not providing standards. So commercialization of education is rampant. So that has to be addressed rather than semantics, whether he said criminal waste or he did not say criminal waste. I think that's an absolutely ridiculous discussion.
We hear you, Professor Rao, and of course, pointing fingers won't get us to the solutions we need. It's accountability that we need to, actually practice with our leaders and hold them accountable along with our role in society in bringing about those changes. And for now, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, Professor K. Nageshwar Rao, and sharing your perspective with us and our viewers.